That don't mean you should attack me. We enjoy the 5-star meals, but you was with me for the Zaxby. Holding me down from the start. I used to be broke, I was ashy. I hate we didn't tie the knot, but that's how life goes. You always would say that I might blow. Got rich and I pay for your lipo. I know the person you is, that's why I still wanna be friends. If you wanna open up a new salon, I still help pay for the wigs. And I help with the lease. You know I ain't never been cheap. Relationships don't always last, but let's not turn it to beef. I'll come through from time to time and have you grabbing them sheets. That's if you want to, I'm just playing, girl. Stop smacking your teeth. 21.
I hate to be to make it till forever. No, Holly ain't getting back together. Can't wish you better. Good, but we still good. I realize that I can't be a lover. Let's just keep it honest with each other. I'll be happy for you and you for another. Good, but we still good.
What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis will take on boxing novice, a guy that's one of the biggest names and biggest draws in the sport of boxing, but is campaigning in the heavyweight division, Jake Paul, aka the Problem Child. The fight will take place on Netflix in Atlanta, Georgia, at State Farm's Arena. Now, Tank Davis fought at that location when he took on Mario Barrios. He was able to get the regular WBA junior welterweight title, but he moved back down, saying that that weight was a little bit too much for him, even though he got the dub. He struggled in that fight early on, but he was able to stop him in the second half of the fight, and he was able to get another win and continue his undefeated streak. With that being said, this fight between him and Jake Paul will take place at a maximum weight of 200 pounds. So Jake Paul in this last fight versus Iron Mike Tyson, he came in at 227 pounds, so he's going to have to make sure he don't make weight. I would assume there's going to be some kind of penalty if Jake Paul misses weight. Maybe the fight don't go down if he don't make weight, because Gervonta Tank Davis is giving away 65 pounds off the rip anyway, because he fights at 135 pounds. This fight's going to take place at 200 pounds. So let's let you know that Jake Paul is the A side of this fight. Because if he wasn't A side, you would think, you know, this fight would be maybe 175, 180 pounds, you know, somewhere in that realm as far as maximum weight. But for this fight to be a 200 pound maximum weight for both fighters, knowing good well that Gervonta Tank Davis ain't gonna get nowhere close to 200 pounds, and Jake Paul last fight was 227 pounds. That lets you know that who is the A side. This fight's gonna take place on Netflix. Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson on Netflix. Gervonta Tank Davis last fight was on Amazon Prime. So again, who is the A side? It's Jake Paul. Jake Paul is the biggest name in the sport of boxing here in the U.S. Make no mistake about it. He was in negotiation to fight AJ, former unified heavyweight champion, one of the biggest names in boxing in the UK. And guess where that fight was going to take place? In Atlanta. If not Atlanta, in some city here in the US, the damn show was going to take place in the UK. That lets you know how big Jake Paul is. That fight was going to take place here in the US. And Anthony Joshua had been in the US since he got beat by Andy Ruiz in one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight boxing history. They ain't been back to the US. They ain't thought about coming back to the US to get a win and give people in the U.S. a different perception of him, man. He went back to the UK and fought in the UK, fighting in Saudi Arabia, ain't fought in the U.S. since, but he was going to fight Jake Paul because Jake Paul is the A-side. So this was this fight represents, in my opinion, not only is it a circus fight, but it lets me know that Jake Paul is the face of boxing here in the U.S. It ain't Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo was going to fight Jake Paul. Guess what? That fight was going to be on Netflix. It wasn't going to be on the zone, but Canelo has been having his last 2 or 3 fights. Wait, my bad. He fought Skull on the zone, but before that, he fighting on Amazon Prime. You know, maybe doing some joint pay-per-views with the zone and Amazon Prime when he fought Berlanga, then he fought McGee. That might have been Amazon Prime and the zone 2 with Golden Boy promoting McGee. So that just let you know, man, that Jake Paul is that dude, man, as far as sport of boxing goes. Now, he's a boxing novice. He's going to have a huge weight advantage over Gervonta Tank Davis. it'll be interesting to see that Gervonta Davis be able to hurt Jake Paul, who's a much bigger guy. But Jake Paul is a guy that has not shown to have a weak chin. I ain't seen him drop once. I haven't seen him really hurt real bad either. So, but he ain't been in there with a puncher, an accurate sharpshooter like a Gervonta Davis, but a guy that's 135 pounder fighting a guy that's 200 pounds. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. How many rounds will this fight be? Will it be 12 rounds, 10 rounds, 8 rounds? It's all about what Jake Paul wants, because he's definitely the A-side. He's the A-side, I'm here to tell you. It's going to be Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis, not Gervonta Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. Just like if Jake Paul would have took on Anthony Joshua, it would have been Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul would have been the first name. Just like, I don't know, he fight Canelo. Canelo might have been ahead of him. I don't know about that. Canelo might have been ahead of him, but that's 50-50. I don't know. But what I do know is Gervonta Davis is looking to get the bag. Ain't got the bag since the Ryan Garcia fight. The last 2 fights versus Frank Morton and Lamont Rose Jr., he made good money, but he didn't make near about what he made versus Ryan Garcia. That's why the Lamont Rose rematch is not taking place, because he was not happy with what he was going to get for the rematch. Because he got to understand that the rematch was already signed before the first fight. All that was signed, what you was going to make, it was going to be a rematch. Say Lamont Rose pulled up, say it's going to be a rematch, he was going to make this amount of money. He didn't get the win, it was a draw, but the terms are going to still be the same as far as if you take the rematch. These terms will automatically kick in with what you was going to make, the guarantee, and what you was going to make on the back end of the pay-per-view. Gervonta Davis was not happy with that. Didn't think that fight would do real big numbers where he could make it up on the back end to make it worth his while. So he pursued a Jake Paul fight. Now, it's going to be interesting to see after this fight what he does, because Tank Davis has basically been talking about retiring, maybe retiring at the end of 2025. So maybe he fights Jake Paul to rise off into the sunset. But he's a guy that, to me, don't look like he wants to fight his contemporaries. Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Devin the Dream Haney. A lot of people say, wait a minute, Devin the Dream Haney is at 147 pounds. Tank Davis at 135. Well, he fighting Jake Paul, who's at heavyweight. So that don't mean nothing. You can find a common ground. Jake Paul fought at 227 pounds against Iron Mike Tyson. The fight's taking place at 200 pounds. So he going all the way up to 200 pounds to fight Jake Paul. Well, he ain't actually going to go up to 200 pounds, but he going to fight a guy that's going to be 200 pounds when they fight November 15th. So why the hell he can't go up to 147 pounds and fight Devin Dream Haney, which in that fight he would be the A-side. He ain't the A-side against Jake Paul, that's for sure. So we will see what happens. And we will see what transpires. What I think is going to happen is, I think this fight going to be kind of similar to Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Jake Paul's brother. I can't even remember Jake Paul's brother's name. Remember they fought a couple years ago over there in Miami? Well, I think Jake Paul, if he survives, goes whatever the distance is of the fight, he's going to look at that as a win. But as you watch the fight, I think Gervonta Tank Davis, even being a smaller guy, is just a more advanced fighter, a high boxing IQ, will be able to land some shots, go to the body, hit him with some shots up top. But as he attempts to really let his hands go, I think Jake Paul would do a good job of smothering him, grabbing, holding on, slowing down the action, just enough to make it to the distance, and then Jake Paul will say that he won the fight, even though everybody see that Gervonta Tank Davis won the fight, landing the more accurate, the more sharper, the more consistent punches throughout the fight. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires in my Howard Cosell voice. But we got to fight. November 15th, actually we're going to have a double header. It's going to be good for the hardcore boxing fans, because we got to fight over there in the UK. Carter Ben versus Chris Eubanks Jr. That's going to be going down in the daytime. And then in the nighttime, prime time, we got Gervonta Tank Davis taking on Jake Paul. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard Briscoe. Follow me on TikTok at JB Sports. New media, follow me on Twitch at Briscoe, MA77071. Follow me on my YouTube channels at JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, 9656, and at JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, 8000. And like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.